started, and then whoever, straggles and straggles in. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Um, this is special information that I want to share with you, so I'm really happy that you're here to participate. My name is Melody Herman. I am the founder of Pop Benefits. I am an insurance broker, a life coach. I am the lead organizer of 1 Million Cups here in the community and have been for several years. And in regards to today, I am a speaker and I am a Kundalini yoga meditation teacher, student, and I'm a yogic scientist. What does that mean? We'll get to that. But the reason that I am here today is because I have some tools and some really incredible shifts and strategies to neurohack and change your life that I've been studying, practicing, experiencing for years. And I feel the need to share it with as many people as possible because we are in a very pressurized time on this planet right now. We've got to move. Time is accelerating. There is a pressure on our nervous systems that I think everybody has been experiencing or can identify with in some level. There's a level of stress, there's fatigue, there's neurosis. People are kind of going nuts. And we are all, we're in Asheville. So I think we're all on some level called to do something great with our lives, okay, and to create things and to move things forward in a conscious direction, whether that's through our business or our personal lives or relationships. But why don't we do those things? Or why do we feel stalled in doing some of those things? Well, those things are, they're patterns and habits, but, we can change those things and we can shift them and we can move them in a real way, not in just a conversation talk way, but an actual physiological way that we can access parts of ourselves that we were never taught how to access, and so that we can be more fulfilled and so that we could show up in a different way and show up in the way we want to show up, and that we can actually make real changes in our lives without trying to force the change in our lives. So Kundalini yoga. Is anybody familiar with the Kundalini yogic science and technology? Awesome. Great. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Yogi Bhajan, he is the master of the White Tantric, the master of Kundalini yoga. He has perfected the practice. He brought over 8,000 lectures, or did over 8,000 lectures over the course of 30 years. He brought the practice and the yogic science of Kundalini yoga to the West at a time when these practices were kept secret and only taught to royalty. So it was kind of a big to-do, a big deal that he came, but he knew that this time was coming, which is the technology age, the computer age. And he knew that time was going to accelerate, and he knew that our nervous systems had to also accelerate. So he wanted to make sure that we had the tools and resources in order to do that. So he brought these teachings. He's written over 30 books. He owned over 14 businesses and consulted in over 14 businesses. Not everybody knows, as a yogi, that he was also a really incredible businessman. And I'm going to share a lot of the teachings of his today because, it's very interesting the way he was talking about the brain and talking about this time years and years ago before we had our, computers and access on our phones. But ultimately, he was telling us that the fastest computers were our minds, but we didn't get a user's manual when we arrived on this planet in human form. And he gave us these things. So a lot of these teachings, and there are many lineages of yoga, but the yogis spent time, practiced, and perfected these teachings for thousands of years. Okay, and the reason why we use Kundalini yoga, or I use Kundalini yoga, it's because it's the fastest. It works the fastest. They always said if there was something else that was faster, we would just use that instead, but Kundalini works the fastest. Um, so patterns and habits. So part of why we don't do the things we want to do in our lives and in the world is because we have these patterns and habits. And what meditation does and what yogic science does is it clears some space out of our subconscious to make room for new habits. I mean, how many of you have set like a New Year's intention or, resolution or something? Uh, how many of you have set New Year's resolutions? All of us, right? So about how much time usually passes until you stop doing it? Yeah, a day, a couple months, like 30 days, 60 days, but it usually doesn't last after a few months. But like, why is that? Okay. So, I mean, we self sabotage is usually like what it is, or we just like maybe we think we get bored with the thing, but we just fall back into the old pattern and the habit very, very easily. Um, so, this is all our subconscious. This is all our subconscious. So, you know, there are ways, there are things within us that tell us not to go to the gym, that tell us to eat the pizza when we said we weren't going to have gluten or cheese, like to, respond or react in the way that we wish we didn't react and then we couldn't take it back. Our subconscious is like poking at us, like, I see you changing, I see you getting better, and I want the thrill. Like, I need the thrill. So I'm going to just creep back up in here and just do whatever it is you've been doing this whole time. But it doesn't have to be that way. So, one of the greatest things is we can kind of develop an awareness around this stuff and our patterns and our habits and what it is we do and the ways that we sort of like sabotage ourselves or do the little thing that we wish we didn't did or that we're trying to stop doing. And really, it's the same thing in every situation. Okay. So it's like whatever the pattern is, it's how you behave and what it is that you do in all the different situations. It could be in a job, in a relationship, it's all the same thing that happens. Um, but these patterns were installed very early, either like in the womb or whatever you believe about lifetimes and incarnations. A lot of these patterns are installed in us for lifetimes and lifetimes and lineages and incarnations. And so, yeah, it's hard to break. It's really hard to break some of these patterns because they've been in us our whole lives, in our brains, and we're not given a tool to clear that out, to change it, to repattern it. So Yogi Bhajan says that, whatever habit pattern you've been doing over and over again is going to become your personality. And that's kind of what we usually think. We think that we're this set of habits and patterns and personal preferences, and that's who we are. But that's not who we are, okay? It's just what we're holding. So we can adjust that and change that. I mean, how many of you know people that like always complain, or they never have money, or their relationship only ever lasts 2 years, or they always like wind up, they're at the job and everything is great. And then after like a year and a half, it's like everybody has the same exact timeline. It just blows up and they don't appreciate me. And like, it's their fault. And like, but it's the same habitual thing over and over again. And this friend, and we all know these people, we all know these friends. And, and that's who you think they are. That's who they think they are, but it isn't. So the neurohacking piece of that is, we go in with this yogic science, whether that's a meditation or a mantra or breath, which we're going to talk about and we're actually going to experience today, because this isn't about me just telling you things. You're going to do them and you're going to actually have your own experience and what it does for you personally, because that's another thing in this time. You know, the old kind of way that's dying out is the person who has the information is the one with the power. But we have a phone, and with the press of a button, we can get any information we want. There are no secrets in this time. Okay, you cannot hide anything. We are seeing that very much right now in our culture, that nothing can be hidden. Yogi Bhajan used to say that nothing can be hidden in this age, in this time. And it's true. So everybody can go ahead and go get any information. Everything I talk about today, you can go look up and do yourself. But are you going to have an experience? It's about having an experience with the information. And it's about, you know, how it's being delivered as well, and whether that, you know, resonates. So when we start to change our patterns, we can create this emotional agility, this flexibility within ourselves, because we can start to trust ourselves more. We can create better habits instead of trying to white knuckle, and instead of repeating the patterns of our suffering, we can start to create new patterns and habits that are positive. Um, you know, and what it becomes is the natural right action, versus a trying, you know, how people do like January 1st for the month of January, they do dry January, and they're like, oh, but I wish I was drinking. And, you know, it's like, it's really like white knuckling it, or somebody trying to quit smoking, or even drugs, or even just, you know, creating dramatics in the relationships. Um, you know, instead of like, I can't do that, like sitting there like, I'm not going to do the thing today. I'm not going to do the thing today. It's just like, it can like easily fall away, and you can just start making better choices naturally. And it also doesn't mean that there's any guilt around it. So it's not like, oh, I did the thing today, and like feeling bad about ourselves. Because like we've got to cut that out now. Like now is not the time to have that. If you do the thing, you do the thing. We're trying to create a way where we can make informed, personal, fast decisions, whatever direction that is. But making the decision and then being good with the decision, and then moving on and not losing any energy over we did the thing, we ate the thing, we had the thing, whatever. Because think about how much energy you've lost, wasted in your life, reeling and reeling. How many people do you know just in guilt and suffering, like perpetual suffering and guilt of, you know, regret over and over? It's like, we don't have time for that anymore. We have a planet to save. We have like conscious business and like consciousness to grow and develop and enhance and expand. We have things to do that are way more important than suffering, and we should be fulfilled and enjoying our lives, because being a human, as you know, it's difficult. It's not easy being a human, but we're here. We might as well enjoy ourselves. We might as well do something fulfilling, and we need to be creating things, and creating not necessarily art, but just creating anything, creating a good relationship, creating love, creating, you know, expansion for other people, creating a joyful environment for people around you. It doesn't have to be like you made a thing, you know, but it could also be that, or a business, or whatever it is. But it's like, you know, let's make some kind of impact and imprint and legacy, like in this time in our lives. Yogi Bhajan has this concept talking about the mind being a recorder. This is very interesting. So the mind records everything you say, everything you say to others, everything you say to yourself, everything you say, you know, everything you do. And then it replays that, and it replays that. And so you keep saying the same things, you keep talking to yourself in a certain way. It just goes on a loop and a loop and a loop. And the more you say these things, then you believe them as reality. So I'm sure nobody's, like, everybody has things that they've said, like, you know, I'm not good enough, or I didn't do that well, or whatever it is, you know, I'm a failure. Like, everybody's had moments in their lives where they felt not good about who they are, what they are, something they did. But when the mind catches that, it's going to keep playing over and over again. And so when the mind records you doing that and it plays it back in a loop, you listen to it, and then that thought form becomes a habit. And then it becomes a self-destructive pattern. And sometimes in a more extreme case, it becomes a phobia. Okay, so we want, I mean, that's like somebody who has experienced depression before. So they've experienced depression, and now they're just scared about the next time they're going to get depressed, or they failed in a business and they're so afraid of the next time they might fail that they're just so absorbed in the failure and the potential failure that you can't move. And they're just, you can't move forward. You can't do anything. You're not happy. You're like in this bubble, and you're seeing it. You're seeing it in the world right now. You're seeing, like, there's things happening that show that people are going crazy, like because of these neurotic fears and phobias and thought patterns that they've been installed and installing and playing on a loop. So we can repattern that to positive things. And the Kundalini yogic science and technology, that is the repatterning of you being able to get yourself out of any nosedive that you find yourself in, whether that's a mood, that's a reaction, whatever self-destructive pattern that is. And then that starts to create a new neuron pattern that starts to then create a velocity of new neuron patterns. And that's when you start to see your life changes. So the velocity of that starts to give you clarity of mind, clarity of your intuition, and then you start to trust yourself in a way that, where our society is not teaching us to trust ourselves. In fact, our society, the matrix of this society is designed for us to not trust ourselves and to seek everything externally, to have self-trust. But you can develop that on your own. And, when you can accumulate that, it's very rare. Having self-trust is very rare. And if you're in business or whatever it is you do, when you trust yourself, other people trust you. It's just like a given. And it makes you different in the room. It makes you stand out in a room in a way that you wouldn't normally think that you would stand out. So one of the best ways to cut this out is with mantra. So in Kundalini Yoga, we use breath, mantra, and mudra being a position. But mantra, we've all heard of what a mantra is, but the Kundalini yogic science takes it to a very different level. So Yogi Bhajan says, mantras are the mind vibration in relationship to the cosmos. The science of mantra is based on the knowledge that sound is a form of energy, having structure, power, and a definite, predictable effect on the chakras and the human psyche. Mantra is a powerful combination of words which, if recited, takes the vibratory effect of each of your molecules into the infinity of the cosmos. I mean, who talks like that? I'm amazed. I'm always amazed. But scientifically, the roof of our mouth has 84 meridian points that have access to our brains. And this connects to the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is part of where our nervous system gets messages and works and changes. And it works together with our pituitary and pineal glands to create something new in our bodies, in our minds. The mantras are like a Morse code. So it's like the way the tongue hits the roof of your mouth in different combinations. And this stimulates your nervous system and your brain. So this is like our minds are very limited in the way we think, but, we are very unlimited, but we don't know how to access that. So mantra is like a sword that cuts through any negative thought pattern, habit, insecurity. And the more that you repeat like higher vibrational words and practices, the more you're able to change, these neurotic frequencies that we're accustomed to having. So So one of the velocity of the mantric vibration in your system goes with you whenever your body goes as well. So again, if you think about whatever you believe in incarnations, the mantra stays with you. But more so than that, it's like when you practice these good habits, they stay with you, they accumulate. It's not like you do your practice and you do a little practice, you do a little meditation, you do a little breath every day, and it just accumulates. You get better and better. If you miss a day, it's not like you've reversed everything you've done. It keeps going. It stays there. You keep getting better all the time. Again, it's like not another thing to like feel guilty about. Whereas like sometimes if you maybe miss the gym a few days, maybe you do kind of reverse some of the stuff you do. But if you keep doing mantra, and that's actually the law of this age is just repeat something of a higher vibration. We are going to get into some mantras today too. But another thing that it does, it cuts out the subconscious thought forms. So things that you don't even know are there, it cuts it out. So this is like a repeat. So Sat Nam, that's a mantra, okay? Sat Nam. It means truth identified. What it really does is it helps you to access who you really are without all of the nonsense that we have going on in our brains. And it's not like the new age cliche of your truth. It's not like your truth. This is like your real truth, like your real truth. Your truth, being like usually a reason to behave in a negative way, honestly. This is like who you really are without everything else, like pure you. And what do we need in this time? We need to be our most us so that we can create, deliver, and do things that are in alignment with who we really are. Whether you use the word like destiny or purpose, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just, are you feeling fulfilled? Are you fulfilled? So Sat Nam is just a really great thing to use. You could just, everyone say, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Okay, it's something you could just repeat. And actually a neurohack on that, we're gonna meditate with this too, but a neurohack with that is you could just put your hands, your fingertips on your pulse on your wrist and just mentally vibrate. So we don't really say chant, it's more vibrate, but mentally, if you close your eyes and look at your third eye, which is just the middle of your forehead up in between your brow point, and what you're doing there, it's not some like weird esoteric thing. You're actually using optic nerves in your eyes to access different points in your brain and change something in your neurological patterns. So yeah, third eye, you could be all into your third eye, but there's a science behind it, and it's actually doing something to create a change. So if you close your eyes and look at your third eye, focus on your third eye, and put your fingers on your pulse, and mentally just chant with your pulse, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, just mentally. I mean, if you are in a situation and you are feeling heightened stress and you can't get out of it and you just need something to calm yourself down or just reconnect with yourself, I mean, that takes like 1 second. But it's not just like you're doing something, you're changing something, you're creating something. And then what starts to happen when you start repeating things, and I will repeat this, is it becomes easier to go to this than the negative thought form that we're so used to going towards. Another one, Satanama, infinity, life, death, rebirth, okay? But it's Sa-ta-na-ma. So it's Sat-nam is the atom, and Satanama has the power to split the atom. This is like nuclear atomic power. They're just, it's just syllables. But it's a permutation combination on the roof of your mouth with your tongue, sa, ta, na, ma, and your lips. You're changing something in your brain. So, and instead of, relating to the mantras in some kind of like, religious way or yogic way. This is this is nutrition. This is like high grade nutrition for your brain. But nobody talks about this like that. But Yogi Bhajan talked about it like this. This isn't like Kundalini yoga is not about, you know, sitting in meditation and bliss. This is like, I want to change some things and I want to create some stuff. And I've got this thing in the way and these patterns and the way that I am. And I want to change and I want to feel good and I want to have good relationships. And I want to have a good time. You know, this is like using these tools. And I mean, there's over 4,000 different meditations, mantra combinations, English. Gurmukhi is the language used in Kundalini yoga. You know, and you can just take one thing, and it could change your whole life. So, you know, but this is medicine. Relate to this like medicine, like you need your daily dose of your medicine in order to be healthy and vital and feel good and think better and have clarity of mind. Because if you look around right now, people are walking around like zombies. You see people walking around like zombies. They're out of it. They're out of it. There's so much pressure in this time that, you know, all the information is just coming out at us. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. But you can have sovereignty over that. It's like, is that using you or are you using it? But it's like the fads, the things, the like, you know, people that are all like, just whatever anybody's saying, they just believe it because they're being told it instead of having some like clarity and sovereignty and like, okay, that's interesting, but like, I'm just going to go on about my day. It could even just be like an obnoxious person that you work with and you're, you know, people that get all crazy about people that are, you know, maybe really negative or that you don't like being around. You know, it's like a lot of people, even in new age and wellness, you know, it's like, oh, well, I'm positive now and this person's really negative and like, I don't want to be around that person anymore because it like is ruining my, you know, cool vibes or whatever. This is like, no, I could be around anybody. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me. And in fact, I'm going to be so strong and so sovereign and have so much clarity of mind and be so aligned in myself and who I am that I am going to elevate that person's presence. And it is not going to faze me because I have a mantra that I can repeat in my mind while they're talking to me. But you use that because we can't just get flipped around based on what's happening outside of ourselves. Because we've done that. We've done it and it doesn't work and it doesn't feel good to have your emotion, your whole day. We're going to lose a whole day. We're going to lose an entire day. I mean, please, I've done it. I've lost many, many days. We're going to lose a full day being upset about one thing that somebody else did or said. That's a day of our lives. You know, it doesn't mean, and in having these practices, it doesn't mean that you're not affected or things don't bother you or it doesn't, you know, you don't feel things, but what it means is it doesn't take you down. It doesn't take you down. Or what you notice when you have like a practice like this and you repeatedly practice and you develop this relationship with a commitment and a discipline to change the way you feel and think, then it bothers you for less time. Maybe something that used to take you out for weeks or months takes you out for a few hours. That's a victory. You know, maybe the thing still bothers you, but it doesn't have like the same hold or the grip that it once had on you. And that's like what we're looking for in this. It's just like every day to just feel a little better than we did the day before. And there's going to be times, if you do a practice like this, there's going to be times where you're like, oh my God, that thing changed so much. I can't even believe it. Like in an instant, this could cut through some of your bullshit in an instant. You could be different in a moment. And that being like in increments too. I mean, it's like you don't necessarily go from here to here, but it's like that, just consistent up leveling, because don't we want that? And there's nothing wrong with us, and it's not saying there's something wrong with us and we have to change and we're not good enough, so we have to be better. It's like, I just want to feel better. I would just like to feel better. I would just like to do more. There's things that I want to create and deliver in this world, and I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't have the confidence. People won't like it. People won't like me. Got to get over that. Not everyone's going to like you or what you have to say or do. Yogi Bhajan actually gave an equation for that too. He gave a lot of equations, but it was like 30% of the people are going to love you, and whatever you say, they're just like on it. They're your cheerleaders. They're all about it. 30% of people don't care either way. And 30% of people like don't like you at all. 33%, whatever that math is. So you got to just get over that. Not everyone's going to like you. Big deal. Move on. Think about how much time we've spent in our lives like actually not living or being upset because of something like that. So let's just like not do that anymore. But the mantras, they help you get rid of that stuff without you having to identify. Like you don't have to sit down and say, now you can have an intention of something that you want to clear, something you want to move, but you don't have to do that. You just say the mantras, okay? And he had a really great, and if, you know, these don't appeal to you, victory is an English mantra, okay? It says vibrate on the word victory. I have a good little quote about that, but everyone close your eyes for just a second. Close your eyes for a sec. Focus at your third eye. And I want you to mentally vibrate victory. So take a really deep breath in, hold your breath, and just chant, looking your third eye, victory, 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 victory. And then when you have to exhale, just exhale. And then take another deep breath in, and you do it again. You hold, and you just repeat, vibrate, victory. Yogi Bhajan says, whenever you face anything and you don't have an answer, just call yourself inside and say victory. Lean on victory. Make it a guide word. Make it a precious word. I don't know what you are, who you are, why you are. Don't ask questions. Don't do your analysis. Don't try to solve problems. Just utter the word victory. With just the mental utterance of this word, your whole life will change. Mentally utter the word victory. Try it. You'll find the strength of 100 angels behind you. You can open your eyes. How does that feel? Feels good. But it's like the thought comes up, I'm not good enough, victory. I can't do that, victory. They don't like me, victory. Victory, just repeat, 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 repeat. Satnam, Satanam. You're standing in a networking event. I mean, like there's lots of networking events. If you have a business, how many in here are entrepreneurs? Yeah, this is an entrepreneurial city. You gotta talk to people about your business. And if it's your business, sometimes it's hard to talk, it's hard to talk about your business. It's scary to talk about your business because it's you, it's yours. So we have some like ego around it a little bit. Like, what if somebody doesn't get it? What if they don't like it? What if they don't want it? So we have all these like hangups about sharing it. But like, if you just get in a moment and you're like afraid to talk, just mentally victory. No one knows you're doing it. Satananama. Nobody knows what's up. You know how many times like, chanting a mantra in the back of my mind, like while somebody's talking to me, because I have to calm my own nerves down. I used to not be able to talk in front of a room full of people. Not that I couldn't, but like super, super nervous. Now I talk in front of a room of like 50 people every week, and it's like nothing. It's fun. It's fine. But I had to chant mantras. I had to use my tools. And I had to keep showing up, which is another thing. You got to keep showing up for yourself, for your practice, for the things you're doing, for the people in your lives. So another mantra. Actually, we're gonna, what I want to do? Where are we at? All right. we'll come back to that. All right, breath. The only way you can win and survive and be excellent is if your blood has 21% of oxygen. That only comes if the breath is very full. Breath is full, life is full. Breath is off, life is off. Breath is shallow, life is shallow. So the powers that be don't want us to know that we can heal ourselves just with our breath. A lot of people would, be out of business. Okay? So, but you have to breathe correctly. So Yogi Bhajan says that about 80% of the people don't know how to breathe properly. But it is our lack of oxygen alone that creates all physical, mental, and otherwise disease. So another fun thing here, how many people have heard of nootropics? Okay. So nootropics is, for those of you who haven't, it's a brain drug. So if you've seen the movie like Limitless with Bradley Cooper, it's kind of like that. But a lot of people in Silicon Valley take nootropics. A lot of people in like the biohacking sphere, they take nootropics. Why? Because supposedly it accesses these parts of your brain. I mean, we only use like a very small percent of our brains, but apparently the nootropics are taken to get like about 40% usage of our brain, which is still not even the full capacity. But you don't need that. You don't need nootropics. The whole reason is it creates, it enhances your sensory system. Okay, so there's a mental and physical agility and intuition, a sense, and even if any of you saw the movie, seeing through a curvature of time and space. And but Yogi Bhajan says that all of these teachings actually teach you to see the unseen, hear the unheard, know the unknown. And there's even a meditation to increase your IQ, which I have practiced, which I was going to do with you guys today, but it's real trippy and you're not allowed to drive afterwards. So I was like, maybe that's not a good idea. We'll do something else. But, I thought about it. But it does. It helps you, it definitely upgrades your operating speed. But, the message that we're hearing is that there's something outside of us. And in order to fix it, you have to take something. You have to lose something. You have to get this thing. But yogis have known for thousands of years that everything you actually need is already within you. All the healing, all the tools that we have, we have everything we need to heal our bodies and our minds and beyond. And if you notice, a lot of science lately is actually going backwards, not backwards like science isn't advancing, but it's going back into those teachings and those principles. Guess what? Because people are getting a little smarter and they know that it's not the drug. Like, oh, here, take the drug and you're going to feel better. And then guess what? You don't feel better. Oh, well, try this drug too. And try this one, try this one. And it's like a vicious cycle. But, we have the fastest and most intelligent and sophisticated operating system that there is. But again, we just don't know how to use it. So, and that's actually what's going to make you the most successful too. And you want to talk about creating a pattern of success. Somebody that has the ability to, in a moment, up their operating speed, their mental clarity, shift their focus, make fast decisions. People have no attention span lately because everything's coming at them, coming at you, and you can't decipher. But these tools give you a better ability to not just take all of the information that's coming at you, but to very quickly organize it and then make a decision, use the information, take an action. That puts you at a very competitive edge from other people. and not to use like competitive edge, because I don't think we're really in a competitive time anymore, like that energy of competition, but it is going to attract people to want to work with you and do business with you because it's impressive. It is impressive to be able to do that effectively. So, you know, and also that doesn't mean that you never need any medicines or supplements or anything like that. But again, they're tools. They're tools. You use things as tools. And again, are the things all using you, or are you using them? And do you have the sovereignty of mind to use the thing instead of allowing it to use you? Like, is time running you, or are you running time? I mean, you actually can have command over time. People that always feel like they don't have enough time, I never have enough time, it's like too much, busy, busy, busy. You can actually like take command of that and create more time. It's all in the technology and the energy, and part of what this technology does as well, on a little bit of an esoteric sounding level, is it connects you to the flow of the universe, the natural flow of the planets and the universe and the cosmos, and something that's going on that is much bigger than we are understanding or taught to understand. But when you're in a flow with that, things just sort of move a little more smoothly, and you have enough time, and the thing comes, and the thing you needed, the resource you needed for your business just shows up one day, and there's synchronicities like all around you. And because of doing a practice where you're clearing out your subconscious mind, which is really like daily taking out the garbage and just taking out the garbage, you become more aware of all those things. You notice them. You know, I mean, how many times have we been like, we're so like in a thing, in a cloud, and you can't see anything good that's happening around you, but it's happening. So we want to give ourselves the opportunity to actually not just see the thing, but then to be able to grab the thing and do something with the thing. So all of that is, you know, breath, what that does is it oxygenates your blood. When you can oxygenate your blood, you clean your blood, and that's when you can really make vital, quick decisions in a split second. You can, you know, organize the information, discern what to do with it, and then have that, you know, intuitive wisdom and neuron velocity to then actually know what the right action is for you. Right action for you. This is not like a moral thing. This is not good, bad. It's just you making a decision for you, and then that's it. Done deal. No more thought necessary on it. And this is like with your moods, you know, when your moods change, any sickness, you find yourself like in a moment or a predicament. You know, they refer to breath in Kundalini yoga or in yoga terms as prana. It's pranic energy, but the pranic energy is that there is an intelligence of the breath. So the breath knows where to go. It knows what to do in your body. So everybody just take like a really like, sit up straight. Sit up straight. Like your son, like make your spine like a steel rod, okay? And then just really, really deep inhale through your nose, and you want just your whole lungs, your chest, everything to just fill up. Just and that's your life force. I mean, but you could just do that at any moment. We like forget though. We forget to do that. And in yogic science, there's a few different types of breath. We'll cover a couple of them. Oh, we're like out of time. All right. I'm going to move a little because I want you guys to experience a couple meditations. Mudra, this is the positions of your hands. In your hands, you have access to all 10 points of your brain. So they're all in your fingertips. So a really great little hacking tool that I'll dip in, it's called a brain massage. Ooh. So if you just go, put your fingertips together, align your fingers, And just like roll your fingers around. Close your eyes for a second. Just roll your fingers around. You just do that for like, you're giving yourself an actual brain massage. But you'll feel different. If you just need a little like pick me up, if you're working on a project, you need to get things activated a little bit, you can do that for just a few minutes. And then I also want to tell you about mudras. So your thumb is your ego. Your index finger, this is associated with Jupiter. This is intelligence. Your middle finger is associated with patience. Okay. Your ring finger is your sun finger, and it's life, energy. And your pinky finger is your Mercury finger, and that's communication. So I'm sure you guys have all seen this. It's called Gyan Mudra. But you can do this for anything. So if you're just like in a jam, you want to access a little bit of your intelligence. That's why most of yogic postures are in this. But this isn't like you're daintily holding your fingertips together. This is like you're pressing your fingertips together. You're accessing parts of your brain. You're accessing your intelligence. It's a seal. It's a seal. You're bringing more intelligence towards you. Your middle finger, you need patience. You're bringing that towards you. You need a little life, a little energy, communication. If you're in a meeting and you want to perform well at that meeting, you can have your finger like this under the table because it's going to help you access better communication in your brain. Like, this is crazy, it's good stuff. All right. All right. So I want to teach you, because of time, two things that are just like going to be the most powerful things you could ever use with your breath, and then changing patterns and habits and addictions. Okay. So first, just like rub your palms together and then press them together in a prayer pose and put your thumbs against your sternum. And yeah, this is, sure, it's called a prayer pose, but what it's actually doing is it's balancing the hemispheres of your brain. Okay. And then there's a mantra we say in Kundalini Yoga, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, and you say it 3 times. And what it does, it's like a tuning fork. And normally we chant it, but we're just going to do a quickie of it, a quickie speak 3 times. It tunes you into the wisdom of the entire universe. It tunes you into more of yourself, the lineages, the golden chains of wisdom, masters, and it just connects you to something greater than yourself. So everybody sit up straight, close your eyes, focus on your third eye. Take a deep breath in your nose and exhale through your nose. And then we'll say it 3 times. It's Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And we'll do it fast. So it's Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Take a really deep breath in your nose. And pull up your root lock. That's your navel, your sex organs. Put the tip of your tongue into the roof of your mouth and just channel the energy up through your spine, out of the crown of your head. You can heal everything in your body with this. And exhale. So breath of fire, this is like the easiest way to get your blood oxygenated. If you need energy, if you need focus. The thing about the breath, like I said, it's intelligent, it's adaptogenic. So whatever you need, it's going to give you. So you could do breath of fire in the morning, but you could also do breath of fire at night before you go to bed. Like, it's not going to hop you up and relax you. It's going to give you what you need. But it's a great way to just change the channel too. And you need to. But this is something that you should do every day. So what it is, it's a rhythmic inhale, exhale through your nose. And, for those of you who may be familiar, has anyone ever done breath of fire before? Okay. If they told you to pump your navel and to focus on your navel, they were wrong. Okay. So your navel is going to naturally pump a little bit, but you're focusing on the inhale, exhale, even rhythmic in the nose. So it's and nothing else on your body should be moving. So it shouldn't be like there's none of that going on. There's none of that, okay? The thing about the rhythmic breath is if your breath is off rhythm, then your life is off rhythm. So everybody close your eyes, sit up straight, focus at the third eye, the point between up and between your brows. And you can put your hands in the Gyan Mudra, which is the thumb and the index finger points touching, and just put them on your knees. Make sure your spine is straight like a rod. And we're just going to even inhale, exhale through the nose. And while you'll do that, you mentally chant Sat on the inhale, Nam on the exhale. So it's Satnam, 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 Satnam. This is something that when you're properly doing it, you could do it for an extended period of time and you don't get tired out. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. It's not forceful, it's relaxed. Right, now take a really, really deep inhale through the nose and hold it. Pull up that root lock. And exhale. This breath changed my life. This is something you sit up in your bed. You could do it first thing for a minute. We just did it for like a minute and a half. A good dose is 3 minutes. Shoot for 3 minutes a day. You could do that for 3 minutes every day, right? Think about all the other stuff we spend doing 3 minutes, spend 3 minutes on doing. But if you want your life to be different, if you want balanced brain chemistry, if you want emotional balance, hormone balance, and love, like balanced hormones, like good relationships, this is going to be the fundamental thing, which is to take control of your breath. But it's like if you're going into a situation, a meeting or something, do it for a minute in your car. If you're in like a high pressure situation, go to the restroom, do breath of fire for a minute. We all have timers on our phones. I can't tell you how many networking events and things and meetings. And it's not because I'm stressed before. It's not because necessarily of the anxiety, although it will relieve your anxiety. It also just clears out anything that was going on before so that you could be fully present in that moment with whatever that thing is, whoever that person is. Just clear everything out. Yogi Bhajan said you should be doing that a few times a day throughout the day. It will change your life. So I want you to try it and have an experience of it. Then the other thing that's really important I want to teach you is the addiction meditation. This is the medical meditation for habituation. So what this actually does, and it doesn't have to be like an addiction, like a negative, like a smoking or a booze or drugs or something like that, although it can be, but we're addicted to habits, we're addicted to patterns, we're addicted to the way that we show up. There's a lot of things we're addicted to thoughts. What this does is it goes into the place in the brain where the thoughts and the patterns were created, and it starts to decalcify it. So you want to talk about changing patterns, changing a habit, quitting something, stop doing something, whatever it is. You don't try to change the thing. I mean, how many times you're like, I'm not having sugar for 30 days, and then like 5 minutes later, you're like in a cabinet with a cookie in your mouth. And you're like, how did I even get here? I don't even know what happened. We've all had some level of that. But it's like, you don't try to force the change and say, I'm not doing it. Just do the meditation, because what's going to happen is the things that aren't serving you are just going to fall away. It's just going to change. So what you have to do, and I say I'm a yogic scientist, you got to be a yogic scientist. It's like an experiment. You want to be aware what's changing, what's different. Oh, I didn't spend an hour obsessing in the mirror, like saying negative things to myself today. Wow, look at all this extra time I have. Oh, I didn't just I'm not like just reacting and like responding to like texts that are like high pressure texts like immediately. I'm actually taking a minute and thinking about it and then responding like in a constructive way instead of a destructive way. It replaces the destructive habits with constructive habits, but on its own. And you'd be surprised at the kinds of things that fall away. And I don't normally talk about like my personal experiences with this stuff when I do these, but I will give you an example of, business is not the easiest thing, and a lot of things don't work sometimes. And, you got to be like resilient and cool about it, whatever. But, something happened recently where all of a sudden I noticed like something didn't work. Something that I wanted to work didn't work. And it not only didn't work the way I wanted it to, but like far from. And I didn't have one bad thought about myself. And I was like, whoa, like that was a bit. And then I started I just noticed I had been going, it's like walking over like dead corpses, like not even noticing. Like I realized, I thought about it and I realized, wow, I haven't had like thoughts like that about myself in a really long time. I didn't even notice. It took this one thing and I was like, wow, I've been doing this addiction meditation for a long time, but it's like a lifetime meditation. But, I stopped drinking. I didn't try to stop drinking. I didn't say, I'm never going to drink again. I don't want to. I don't care. I don't want to. No interest. Fell away. It fell away. So you'd be surprised. So we're going to do this. So, all right, you got your hands here. And you want to press your pads of your fingertips, curl them, and you want them to press into the pads of your hands, like under. It's not comfortable. I know it isn't. A lot of these things aren't, but again, think about what else we wind up doing with our time. So if you're going to get rid of some bad patterns and feel better about yourself, it's worth it. And then what you're going to do is you want to press your thumb tips into your temples, okay? So your hands are just like, not like Mickey Mouse ears, but just kind of like this and get in the grooves. And then you're going to press your back molars together, not hard, like you don't want to break teeth, but press them enough so that you feel something in the tips of your thumbs, okay? And you're going to close your eyes and you're going to focus on your third eye and you're going to mentally chant while you clench your teeth, sa, ta, na, ma. So you're going to press the back of your back molars together. You're not moving your hands at all. You're going to press your back molars together with each syllable, sa, ta, na, ma. Mentally vibrate that. And you're going to think you can't hold your arms up, but that is just mental. You can. It's a subconscious self-sabotage. Now take a really deep inhale, hold the posture, hold it, and release. Okay. It's called the addiction meditation. Do that every single day. If you're going to have my contact information. I'm going to hope that I hear from every single one of you. Please send me the actual instructions of those meditations so that I can do them every day. Not just every day. Start with every single day for 40 days, 3 minutes a day, each one. 3 minutes of the breath of fire, 3 minutes of addiction meditation, every single day for 40 days. That's 6 minutes. 6 minutes. and then see what happens. You see what happens. I'm sure I can tell you what happens. You assess what happens to you. So again, these things are going to give you better thinking. You're going to start to feel better about yourself. You're going to chant mantras. You're going to replace insecurity with security. Every time you have a problem you just don't know the answer to, every time there's a conflict, every time there's something that you need to come up with, you're not feeling good, you have a negative thought, you're like spinning in a circle in your brain, just start chanting Satanama, Satnam, 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 victory. Whatever it is, just replace it. Get accustomed to replacing it. Because here's the thing, like we can't, Yogi Bhajan always says like the mind can't fix the mind, and you can't solve a problem at the level it was created. So it's like when there's like something to solve, how many times we like obsess and we're thinking about it and what do we do, and especially in business, but it's like, how are we gonna like accomplish this? What are we gonna do? And the more we think about it, like we don't get anywhere. So just chant a mantra, do a breath, just chant. The answer comes to you. It comes to you, it finds you. But you have to clear away the mess. It's like hoarders in our minds, okay? And what happens when nobody comes and cleans out those storage units? They overflow and then they need more storage units, but we only have so much room in our brains to hold all these subconscious thought patterns. And if we don't take the trash out every single day, we're going to run out of room. And that's why people are going nuts right now. So you just want to like do something to clear it out. Just give yourself a little bit of good nutrition every single day and just make it become a habit. Like just practice it. I'm not going to change any of these other things. I'm just going to commit and I'm going to do this one thing every single day, 6 minutes every single day. And then what happens? You do it every day and then you start to trust yourself more. And then other people trust you. So, and it gives you all these amazing things that just set you apart from other people. And it gives you like a magnetism and a radiance. I mean, I didn't get into all that with the yogic technology, but like there's radiance, there's an auric presence, there's a magnetism. There's something that you walk into a room and people want to talk to you and people want to do business with you. And you can't explain that, but it's because of this. It's because of this practice. It's because you trust yourself and you don't have neurotic thought forms ruling your life all the time. Doesn't mean it never happens, but it means it happens and then you can really quickly shift out of it so that it doesn't take over and it doesn't become destructive. So a couple other little hacking tips real quick. White Sun Gong album, Sleep to the Gong. Sleep to it. You don't have to chant a mantra all day. If you do one thing, play the gong on repeat all night, it doesn't offend anybody, okay? You're gonna get better sleep. It's gonna do work for you. It's gonna clear your subconscious for you while you sleep. Play mantras. Just look up White Sun. They're really incredible. One of my teachers is the lead singer. They're just incredible. Their music is amazing. And they have mantra music. They have a gong album, but sleep to the gong. And then if you like the mantras, play the mantras, listen to them, play it in the car, play it in your place of work. You're going to actually do better work. I have a mantra playing right now. This mantra I'm playing right now is for wisdom and intelligence. It's soft, and it doesn't have to be loud. You just play it like really soft, but you're going to try it. Try sleeping to the gong album for a week and just see how you feel, and then just keep doing it. Don't stop. This one breath that you should know. So if you feel like you're in a really like compulsive moment, this is an in the moment situation, like the compulsion has hit, you're going to do the thing, you're going to text them back, you're going to send the thing, you're going to send that angry email to the person, you're going to eat the thing, whatever it is. If you're like finding yourself in that moment, just like try this right now with me. Take a really deep breath in through the nose, hold it. Exhale, inhale, exhale. 7 times in the moment, 7 times. Inhale, hold, release through the nose, in and out through the nose. Very powerful. gets you out of your compulsion, like a compulsive behavior or pattern. That when you're like, because you'll start to see yourself like you're watching a movie. You'll be like, oh, there she is. I'm watching the train. You're like, I don't want the train to crash, so I'm going to do something right now. I'm going to chant a mantra. I'm going to do this breath right now. Yeah, okay. I ran out of time. This was I'll just tell you another little, this little quote I like. But I'll just tell you, in patterns and habits, I have a pattern and habit around the way I plan and create and develop talks that I give. Okay, and this was the first time I ever did a slide deck for my business. And I actually am very involved in the startup world, and I teach people how to create pitches. I teach people pitching, and I don't make slide decks because I've always been, I don't do a slide deck. I just talk. I don't need a slide deck. But I wanted to upgrade something. There's a way that I want to deliver. I want to reach different audiences. I want to teach these tools because these tools, I mean, this is like freedom. Sovereignty is freedom of choice. That's what this gives you. It doesn't mean you don't still eat the pizza or do the thing or whatever. Then there's something bad, wrong, anything you do. It's you choose to. You're like, I'm going to have it. I'm not going to have it. I don't need to have it. You know, in a time where we're being told what we should be doing, what we should be buying, how we should look, you know, to say, okay, this is cool, I like this, or I don't, and it doesn't matter. So this was me, you know, wanting to grow and do something different and change it up. And there we go, and there's my info. Thank you. I'll stick around if you have questions. I know it's after 1, so if you have to leave, I understand. But if you want any of those meditations or anything that I did, just shoot me an email, and I am happy to provide you with any of that information. But do those 2 things for 40 days. Thank you guys so much.